The library is open and I can't wait to spy on some book lives. My fellow nosies, let's see how messy this one gets. Heaven Sent by Sean. This is a marriage of convenience romance and there are no triggers. Nikolai sees a girl on his 27th birthday and he's captivated by her, but he doesn't say anything and he leaves the establishment thinking he's not ever going to see her again, but he thinks about her a lot over the years. Even though his image of her gets hazy over time, he still cannot get her off of his mind. He comes off as this really cold person, but he actually feels so much on the inside. He is trying to take over as the CEO at his company, taking over from his dad, and he seems to have this contentious relationship with both of his parents, and he keeps a lot inside. He finds out that he has a brother from one of his father's many affairs, but only meets him when they're adults. He's met him like 2 months ago in this book, and he feels a great responsibility for him, but he also feels really resentful towards his father, but he ends up having his feelings towards his father misplaced, and it strains his relationship with his brother. And his mom, she seems more concerned with him having a wife and a family and meeting the apparent standards than she is about him as a parent. So he is tasked with finding a wife, and his mom is going to set him up with a bunch of different women from good families. He doesn't want to do this. He doesn't want to have to marry anyone. He feels like he has worked hard and he should be recognized for his work. I think that his dad being how he is, he feels even more opposed to it. Heaven only has her parents and her aunt in her life. When both of her parents pass away within 6 months of each other, she finds herself sinking in hospital debt and alone in a house that used to be full of life. She struggles to connect with others, but connection is the one thing she really does need the most. A chance encounter that she ends up having ends up with this proposition and really changes the course of the way that her life was going. Okay, so let's just run over to the things that I didn't like. This one felt so short. It wasn't really massively shorter than a lot of romance novels, but it really did feel so short. Even if this book did finish in a way that it needed to, I was still left wanting a little bit more. Not much, but just a little bit more. I don't like it when books resolve things right at the end and then it just ends. It kind of worked here, but I would have preferred an epilogue, and I think that this is what the reader deserved. We deserved an epilogue to just round everything out instead of everything being fine at the end and then it just stopped. It didn't feel like it necessarily stopped abruptly, but it still made you feel like they could have done a little bit more to just finish it, if that makes sense. So yes, it was an acceptable end. Okay, so let's move on to the things that I liked. The marriage of convenience is one of my favorite romance tropes. This one took a slightly different angle for the motivation of the male character choosing a stranger. His therapist basically confronted him and says that he needs to feel validated in needing someone by marrying someone that also needs him. I feel like marriage of convenience, usually the person is picking a stranger because they don't like the type of women that their family would want them to be with, and they just want to be with someone less fake. They're really just sticking it to their family. After an incident that tests the couple's relationship, I really like that Heaven was able to self-reflect afterwards and see everything for what it was. She really thought about both sides of the equation. The chemistry between the two characters is really good. I really love these two together. How Nikolai is always making sure that he caters to Heaven's needs and he never makes her feel abnormal for her sensory issues and other things. And I'm saying and other things because when she explains the issues that she's having, she says she has sensory issues and so much more, but we don't actually find out what the so much more is. I did feel like she could have perhaps been autistic. However, sensory issues doesn't automatically mean autistic at all. It could have been a plethora of other things, and because we never got to hear about the other things that she was struggling with, it's hard to say that, and I wouldn't say that because it's just not enough to go on. But he never makes her feel strange or weird, and he makes it easy for her to be able to cope in the world. He does a lot of things to make sure that she can feel like she's experiencing a normal life. I really appreciated that about him. He just did it, and he did it so naturally she didn't have to ask. Also, the way that the relationship between Malachi, which is his brother, and Nikolai, which is the main character, developed over time was so great to see, especially when you see how they were at the very start of the book. How else would you expect it to be honest, if you've just met a sibling 2 months ago and you're both adults and there's so much surrounding it? It's going to take a lot to process on both sides. So obviously they weren't the perfect brothers at the start of the book. They had some issues. Heaven really helps to facilitate the gap between them because, like I said, Nikolai is really cold. He comes across that way and all his feelings are raging on the inside, so it's hard for him to express himself, and Heaven, because she's so straightforward, really helps with that. So I really like the way the couple help each other too. Even though we were just talking about the brothers, now we're talking about the couple. I really like the way that they help each other and neither of them have to ask. They just understand what the other person needs and they just do it. Okay, let's go to the ratings. For this book, I would say that I would rate it a 4 out of 5. It's a really good, solid read. I enjoyed it. I'd reread it. It's short enough to reread. In fact, even if it was longer, I would still reread it. I'm actually doing a lot of rereads recently for this channel. I think I would give the spice rating about a 3.5. It's good, but I feel like it could have been a little bit better for it to be elevated to that 4 mark. I don't think it was quite there, but it was still a good read. Now we're done. On to the next.